Welcome back, Madridista! Last night, under the bright lights of the Santiago Bernabéu, Real Madrid delivered another performance filled with heart, discipline, and the relentless hunger that defines our badge. Our coach, Xabi Alonso, lined up the team in a 4-2-3-1 formation, a setup built to control, attack, and dominate. Thibaut Courtois was between the sticks, our ever-reliable wall. In defense, Militao and Huijsen commanded the center, Carreras locked down the left, and Valverde, yes, our midfield engine, filled in as right back due to Trent and Carvajal's injuries. In midfield, Tchouaméni and Ceballos anchored the play, while the attack featured Mastantuono, Arda Güler, Vinícius Jr, and the unstoppable Kylian Mbappé. Villarreal came out with a 4-4-2 formation, ready to test our structure, but Madrid was prepared for war. Before kickoff, the Bernabéu rose to its feet. Arda Güler and Kylian Mbappé proudly presented their Player of the Month awards for September, and you could feel the pride in the air. Then, the whistle blew, and it was game on. First half Madrid controlled the tempo. Madrid started fast. Vinícius immediately showed why he's a nightmare for defenders, dribbling twice into their box and forcing Villarreal's backline to panic. His third attempt, a through pass, wasn't perfect, but the pressure was clear. Madrid meant business. At just 6 minutes, Mbappé and Arda Güler combined beautifully. That magical link-up we've all been waiting for, but Güler's shot missed narrowly. It was a warning sign to Villarreal. By the 8th minute, Vinícius was at it again. He glided past their right back like he wasn't even there and sent a teasing pass into the box. No one was there to finish, but Valverde arrived from deep, unleashed a powerful strike, only for it to be deflected for a throw-in. The Bernabéu roared with approval. Madrid was alive. At 11 minutes, Mastantuono won a foul, setting up a free kick. Güler stepped up, played it short to Ceballos, then to Vinícius, but the build-up didn't yield the cross Madrid hoped for. Still, the rhythm was there. The chemistry was building. Then, a tense moment at the back as Militao played it safe to Courtois to reset the play at 14 minutes. Villarreal pressed, but Madrid stayed composed. Carreras pushed forward at 18 minutes after a Ceballos pass, but his attempt to break through was blocked. Seconds later, Villarreal launched an attack that forced Valverde to cover, and although he was a second late, Madrid's shape held. Mbappé immediately replied with a stinging shot that forced a strong save from the Villarreal keeper. Not this time, he seemed to say. At 20 minutes, Vinícius performed one of his signature cuts before curling across toward Tchouaméni, close but not enough. Seconds later, Villarreal made a huge mistake in their box. Mbappé pounced, found Mastantuono, and for a heartbeat, it looked like 1-0 until a defender threw himself in front of it. The stadium gasped. Mastantuono kept pushing. At 26 minutes, he sent a lovely cross toward Tchouaméni again, but the header went just over. At 29 minutes, Huijsen showed his composure, blocking an attack with ice-cold precision. Then Carreras followed with perfect timing on the flank. Villarreal couldn't find a way through. At 31 minutes, Güler had another chance just outside their box. He hesitated, maybe a split second too long, missing the opportunity to find Mastantuono, who was unmarked on the wing. By 34 minutes, Villarreal tried to counter again, but Huijsen stood tall, pure class in defense. Then, at 36 minutes, Ceballos' cross struck a Villarreal hand outside the box, a dangerous free kick. Güler stood over it. The first strike hit the wall, but the rebound nearly went in. The crowd felt the tension rising. At 40 minutes, Vinícius lost the ball near their box, and Villarreal countered dangerously. Courtois came off his line bravely to stop them, and Militao cleaned up the rebound. 2 minutes later, Villarreal came again, but Huijsen and Militao formed a wall. Then came the 45th minute moment. Carreras slipped a pass to Mastantuono, who drove into the box, cut inside, and missed by inches. The Bernabéu stood and clapped. First half, 0-0. Madrid had dominated but lacked the finishing touch. Second half, Madrid come alive. After halftime, Xabi Alonso's message was clear: intensity, precision, and trust the plan. Barely 2 minutes into the second half, Huijsen sent a perfect long pass to Vinícius, who tried once more to crack Villarreal's defense. Then, Valverde released a pinpoint through ball toward Mbappé. The Frenchman nodded it back to Vinícius, who turned, cut past a defender, and unleashed a strike that deflected beautifully into the corner of the net. Goal! Vinícius Jr. Real Madrid 1, Villarreal 0. The Bernabéu erupted. Finally, the breakthrough. Valverde continued dominating on the right, pushing forward like a warrior. At 51 minutes, Mbappé and Güler tried another link-up, but it was slightly overhit. The chemistry was close. You could feel a second goal coming. At 56 minutes, Valverde's cross was blocked. Tchouaméni's long-range shot was saved. And then Mastantuono whipped in a cross for Huijsen. A scramble ensued, with Mbappé, Vinícius, and Huijsen all getting touches before the ball went wide. The whole sequence ended with laughter between Huijsen and Vinícius, a light-hearted moment in the middle of battle. Villarreal countered immediately, but Valverde and Militao were alert. Madrid's defense stood strong. At 62 minutes, another Villarreal counter threatened, but Militao threw himself in front to save us. Then, Huijsen found Mbappé, who took a shot from distance, just off target. At 64 minutes, Alonso made a decisive change. Bellingham came on for Güler. Camavinga came on for Ceballos. The idea was simple: add control and creativity, and instantly it worked. Bellingham slipped a pass to Vinícius, who danced into the box. He was taken down. Penalty. The referee pointed to the spot. The defender was booked. Vinícius stepped up calmly, the pressure on his shoulders, the eyes of the world watching, and buried it. Real Madrid 2, Villarreal 0. Vinícius celebrated with a smile. His brace, his moment. It had been a while since we saw him enjoy himself like this. Moments later, Bellingham and Vinícius linked again, almost creating another goal. Then, Bellingham fired, denied by the keeper. But football is never simple. At 72 minutes, Villarreal struck back with a powerful long-range shot that Courtois couldn't hold. 2-1. A defensive lapse. Camavinga lost his man, and it cost us. Madrid didn't panic. Alonso reacted. At 75 minutes, Mastantuono came off for Brahim Diaz, and what an impact he made. Seconds later, Diaz played a 1-2 with Mbappé inside the box. Pure brilliance. And Mbappé finished it with ice in his veins. Real Madrid 3, Villarreal 1. A stunning link-up, classic Madrid flair. But right after scoring, Mbappé signaled a knock, and Alonso replaced him with Rodrigo. Still, Madrid's hunger didn't stop there. At 90+3, Carreras cut inside, found Vinícius, who played a quick 1-2 with Bellingham. The ball rebounded to Valverde, who unleashed a shot that went just over the bar. Moments later, the referee blew the final whistle. Full-time, Madridista pride. Real Madrid 3, 1 Villarreal. Vinícius Jr. was named man of the match, and deservedly so. 2 goals, endless energy, and the heart of a champion.